if it actually works.
Okay, so good afternoon. My name is Karolis. I will be the facilitator of this discussion. So it's first of all, thank you very much for LCC and for Vytautas Magnus University for making the link between Klaipėda and Kaunas. We're very happy about that. So basically, we had a project. We are showing the movie called Salam Neighbor, and on Monday we showed it in Klaipėda, and unfortunately we were not able to make a discussion during all this free screening. So instead of that, we are organizing online streaming, and also there is possibility that maybe some other people on wide internet, they see this discussion. So welcome for that discussion too. So basically, I think I would like to start with some of the reflections of you guys. How do you see that movie? What are your reflections while seeing the movie, and what do you think about it?
Okay, I'm all the time the first one, so I will start. I just wanted to thank you guys for getting the reality in this movie. I just felt that all of what I heard about, all of what I get through, it was there. I really want to thank you for putting makes me, at least as a Syrian who is go through all of this, cry from the deepest part of my heart. And at the same time, I will just go through something that the refugees said or you said, and then I will start laughing, because this is how the combination between crying and you are really feeling sad about everything that you are seeing, and remembering all the bad experience that you've been through, and then to start laughing. It's mean how much you done well in it. So I want to thank you for that.
Milad, can you introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name is Milad Kellas. I'm 24 years old. I'm from Hama in the center of Syria. And I left Syria last year, so right now it is 1 year and a month out of Syria.
And the people that you see in the front are our 5 Syrian students. So I mean, they were the ones who were shaking and trembling after seeing the film. So I think it is, I mean, in one way we felt so sad that they had to relive the experience, but at the same time, I think this is where we will let them share about what your feelings and impressions were after the film.
Yeah, it was really nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Can we get introductions for the rest of you as well?
Okay, so I'm Ihab Abedin, as my best friend. Anyway, I'm from Idlib, Sarakib. I want to thank you guys. I really appreciate the hard work you've put into this movie. It's unbelievable that you went and lived in the Zatari camp for all that time, just to show the people the reality. I've never been into a camp, but I went to Turkey illegally, and those photos, I started crying so bad. I remembered my mom, me, and my cousin. We were struggling. It was 3 a.m. in the morning, and it was so bad. And the movie was so touching. It was incredible, and thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Ibrahim. I'm also from Idlib, from north of Syria. First of all, I want to really thank you and really shukran for doing this and for showing the good side. And yeah, and I know what it feels like when you hear the bombing sound, 10 kilometers far, and you know that some people died there, but you can't do anything. You're hopeless. Our situation now in Europe, when we hear our friends or our people who know are dying, and we can't do anything, it's really make us feel bad. But we have hope in people like you, that they will show the message of people who's living there. So really thank you for doing this and for everything you have done, and I hope that you will keep doing this for the future and help more people.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Well, it's wonderful to hear your own experiences because our film only shows such a small part of this crisis and just a small part of the experiences people are going through. And it's something that we try and tell people is that this is just a little bit of this, and really, hopefully, it's getting to know. And we're so just even you being willing to share this much of your story is so helpful to continue to understand what people have gone through. So thank you.
My name is Tara Houli, and I am from Damascus. First of all, thank you so much for your efforts in giving another perception of the Syrian crisis and the Syrian refugee crisis to the world. I spent the night crying, all the night crying after watching the film 2 days ago. And since the midst of the crisis, I had a little bit of heart problems because of when feeling so sad. And the guys here witnessed what I had faced that night after living the experience again through your film. It was so hard to especially hear again the voices and the noises of explosions. I thought I lived it again and again, and I felt so lucky after that, appreciating again and again that I am in another country now, and I am in a safe region now. But it made me think that about the people who are still behind and who are still inside Syria even, because sometimes this is the situation in the camp is incomparable to the situation for people still living inside Syria. So hopefully we will do something. Hopefully we are trying to do something to our country. And for this part of the film, when you talked about productivity of people, this is true. Like, we are productive people, and we want to work, we want to produce, we want to be successful. And the most important part that we want to go back to Syria. We want to rebuild our country, and we want to contribute to rebuild our cultures, to rearrange our priorities in life, and save what's we have lost a lot, but we will save what's left over there, and we will try our best. Thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Anas Khatar. I'm 21 years old from Deir ez-Zor city in the east part of Syria. Actually, I'll not add anything to my friend that said a lot, and I think it's enough for that. Really, your movie is affected in me by one way or another. The most thing affected me in your movie showed a part of my city, some views from my city. Deir ez-Zor, the broken bridge, the bombardment, and everything was destructed. Really, the movie affected in me. I spent the night thinking about what happened over there and what we have lost. And the one thing I want to thank you for everything for it, you showed the people, the world, what's happening for Syrians in reality, and you showed that we are just normal people. I mean, the people in Zaatari, how they formed their own society inside this small campus in this small area, how they are creative people. They produce, they pour, and I really want to thank you for that. And I hope in the future you keep going in your job, showing the world more about the Syrians. They are just normal people, not terrorists, because some people think about these things nowadays. And in the end, thank you again.
Of course, thank you guys for being willing to share. And how long have you all been in Lithuania now?
6 more. 5 months for me.
7 months.
How's the process of learning Lithuanian going? We've only learned 3 words in 5 days. So it's really good.
Labas at you.
Yeah.
We are students here, so at the beginning it was so hard to start here in the country, especially everything is different from our culture, from our background, even the food. But day by day, now we are happy here. We are glad that we are studying here.
What are the things that feel the most similar, or like, are there things that have really helped in your first few months here in Lithuania?
The people over here, like our nation. There's a hand. The people over here had in the transition process.
It's a little bit hard to hear you, but just make sure you speak loudly.
If we could get back maybe to just a bit about the film, I think we are very interested in what is your vision like for the film? Like, are you going around to different countries and showing it? Like, what is the larger plan and the larger vision?
Absolutely. So, to take a step back, we started to think about this film in 2013, and the Syrian crisis had already become the largest crisis since World War II, the refugee crisis. But what inspired us wasn't the numbers. We actually met a friend of ours who shared her story of going as a Palestinian refugee, going through that experience, and we realized that media was really leaving out such a huge and important part of this crisis. Most of the focus was on the violence and conflict. Very little was focused on in-depth reporting around, people who are fleeing the war. And so with that in mind, we created this film. We invested equally in the creation of this film, but also in the impact campaign of this film. And so we've had over 400 screenings around the United States, which has been the focus of most of our time. But many of these screenings are done in communities like, Fort Worth, Texas, or Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, or Lincoln, Nebraska, or places that oftentimes don't engage with this crisis. And so that's been a really focus of ours, because I think that dialogue in those communities is so valuable, instead of just preaching to the choir, right? Just showing this film to people who already are very aware of these issues. Along with just the awareness and the dialogue that we're trying to create, we've also had some very specific action steps. So the film has raised, about $180,000 for the nonprofits that you see in the film, as well as to resettle Ismail's family and Gassim's family to Canada through the private sponsorship program. Those are the two families that wanted to be resettled the most. And then one of the coolest things we've done actually is we partnered with a couple organizations, and we had 250,000 petition signatures. And Raouf, instead of us actually, but this was through video, but Raouf presented the petitions at the World Humanitarian Summit in Istanbul. And to people like Gordon Brown, all these world leaders, and they raised $90 million for education in that meeting. So it was kind of a top priority for us to really make sure that real people's stories were included in these discussions, that it wasn't just numbers. And it's much easier to kind of ignore large numbers than it is to ignore a story like Raouf's. So the film, since that kind of major campaign push, has released globally on Netflix to 56 countries, I believe. So it's been translated in all those languages. That's the main mechanism for distribution. It's on iTunes, it's on all these other platforms, but we've continued to push people to these action steps. The thing in Lithuania, I think, that we've been talking a lot about is the opportunity to actually volunteer with the Lithuanian Red Cross, with Caritas, with supporting the work that's being done on the ground here. And it's because you know, Lithuanians often don't have access to people like you. You know, it's hard to, it's easy to fear this situation if you don't know, if you don't have knowledge, if you don't have relationships. And something that, you know, we found so helpful is, like you said, making sure, you know, we humanize this crisis so that it's real people's stories we're talking about, not just numbers and allowing headlines to kind of overwhelm us.
And that's the and the media gets a lot of different approach, I mean, in terms of